We're back!
Ta-da! Hello, welcome back to a video. Hi, my name is Mary. I use she, her pronouns, and I identify as cis girl, and I identify as queer.
My name is Man. I identify trans masculine and genderqueer. My pronouns are he, him, and what else?
Oh, I'm 20 years old.
I'm 19 years old.
Okay, so about a year and a half ago, we made a video titled Being in a Relationship with Someone Who's Transitioning. This is a video on being in a relationship with someone who's transitioning. Part 1. Well, it wasn't called Part 1 then because we didn't know we'd make Part 2. But because we got so many questions after that and a lot of specific scenarios that people were wondering about, we wanted to make Part 2. So here we are.
And I think we've also learned so much since we filmed Part 1. So I think Part 1, but we have a lot more to say now.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked out Part 1, please go check it out. It'll be linked below. And yeah, I talk about...
Just what YouTubers do. Link below. Sorry, we're new at this.
I talk about what this exactly means, being in a relationship with someone who's transitioning, the definition of dysphoria, and I cut it up into 3 parts: dysphoria, support, and sex. We'll be going over the same things again in this video, but a little more because I posted on my Instagram one of the question thingies.
Yes,
asking
new features.
Yes. Asking people if they had specific questions for Part 2. So I got a lot of questions, so we went through some of them.
A lot of great questions too, so thank you for submitting all of them.
Thank you everyone, because we want this to be a conversation with everyone that needs information on it. In the past video, we had been together for I think over 10 months, but now we've been together for
10 months?
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, really?
Yes.
I feel like it was a lot longer than that.
No,
Maybe it was just because we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, continue.
And now we've been together for 2 years and 1 month.
Yeah. So, in the past video, I was a little over 1 month on testosterone. And now, I'm almost 1 year and a half on T. And I could rant about this, but I'm just going to say it feels absolutely incredible. And I really connect much more to how I present now rather than back then. Also, huge update. This past January 10th specifically, I got top surgery. And it was an incredible experience. And if you check out some of my former videos, I talk a lot more about that. And it feels incredible. I'm extremely happy with the results. I'm gonna stop there so I don't get too emotional or rant anymore. But a lot has happened.
Yeah.
Again, why we need to make an update video.
Also, I wanted to say this as a disclaimer. We can try our best to answer these questions, but a lot of them are coming from personal experience, and these are just our ways that we have managed and dealt with the situations that have come up and things that work best for us, and we are just giving advice, but in no way, shape, or form are we saying that this works for everyone. Just advice to share. Okay, so again, I will be splitting this up into 3 parts: dysphoria, sex, and support, but then also including a little bit about top surgery, being a partner in the relationship and how to support, navigate that, and also a little bit about testosterone, being a partner while your partner is going through that as well. So, here we go! The first thing that we're going to talk about is dysphoria, and I'm going to include my last clip of the definition of it because I still agree with what I said. So, what is dysphoria? The definition of dysphoria. Dysphoria is when someone feels uncomfortable or doesn't connect with their body mentally, and I feel like that's the best way to put it in short.
Yeah, it sucks.
When your partner has dysphoria, it's something that you have to first off just have a conversation about. Ask them specifically what makes them dysphoric, what could trigger their dysphoria. Work together as a team to see if there's certain things that you can do to help their dysphoria.
Communication is really the key, and I think within that, honesty is so important. You can't just expect your partner to know. Although it may be something that is on your mind 110% of the time, believe me, I understand that. They don't know what's on your mind. They're not mind readers. So, and as much as you feel comfortable and safe with, it's very important to just have open communication across the board.
Try your best not to make it your other partner's job to educate you on what it means. Try your best to do your own research first. On Google, on Instagram, on Tumblr, there are a lot of great trans or non-binary people that talk about dysphoria. So now I think we should jump into the questions that I got from dysphoria.
And thank you, for doing that. And like, as your partner, like, it means the world to me that although it's not your responsibility, you go out of your way to do that. And you dedicate time to do that, and it shows me how much you care about me and how much you love me, and I'm just eternally grateful for that. And I think it's very important, if your partner does do these things, let them know how much this means to you. I think it really gave me hope about what I believe people would do for me and how people should accommodate for others.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, got a ton of questions.
Yes. Also, MaryV organized these questions so well.
First question, how can I reassure him that I find him attractive without making him dysphoric? So this person specifically used he, him pronouns for their situation, but this could be for anyone. Similar to this, how can I reassure my partner that I find them attractive without falling into toxic masculinity or anything like that? Overall, just letting them know how special they are and how special they look with or without clothes, or if you can see that they just are gleaming in one moment, try to amplify that and being you look hot. Even in their darkest moments of dysphoria, just letting them know that you are still attracted to them because of their mind and soul. I don't know, I feel like I did that with you.
You did, yeah.
I don't know if it sounded cheesy at any point,
well,
but I
this is the thing. Sometimes when you talk about things that are really real and genuine and heavy to you, they come out sounding cheesy, but anyone around you should know, if they really know you, that it's not cheesy because you 110% mean it.
Yeah. So I feel like, in short, that's the best way to answer that question.
And she did do that, and I mean, it was so helpful. You can't imagine, when I was in, like you said, the darkest points of my dysphoria sometimes, when even though I know it's unhealthy, sometimes I had to wear my binder to go to bed. She would just always start showering me and compliments, or just telling me that she loved me, and it, in this dark moment, it shed some light on it. The smallest things, as complimenting them, can really change their entire transition, or specifically the darkest moments of their transition.
So next question that someone asked, best way to comfort your partner during a situation that makes them dysphoric?
Let's think about a specific time when this happened with us.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, in short, is very narrow-minded. When we both went back for my senior prom, I skipped senior year but went back for prom, I wanted to wear a tuxedo. At that time I was pre-teen, and I was surrounded by people who triggered me. Being in that atmosphere that I grew up in again, and my binder, of course, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I got very dysphoric at a time when, ideally we should be having fun and just dancing and laughing.
For me, that was the first time I really had to deal with something or navigate something like that. I was just checking in with you every so often, being like, are you okay? How do you feel? Do you want to leave? And I think for that situation, if it's something like you're going out and either you're in an atmosphere that could trigger your partner, or your partner's wearing something that could trigger them, just checking in every once in a while and being like, how do you feel? And giving that option of being able to go home. Even though I know it sucks having to end a night early or having to leave your friends or any people you're hanging out with, but I think just overall there are many other times that you can see these people again, but giving the option of just being able to go home and being like, we can take a break from this situation.
And I think that's something that you do really well, like, because you don't ever shame me for choosing yes whenever you voice that option. There are a lot of situations in which you could provide the option, but then passive aggressively shame me if I say yes, I do want to go home, and then you figure out, but really, you're just like, oh, perfect, let's go home, let's rest, let's watch a movie, let's do something, and you're so encouraging about it, and there's never ever a bit of shame, which could change everything about how you present the option.
Yeah. Overall, the best way to comfort your partner, I think, is just being communicating and giving them options of we can go home, we can take breaks, and checking in with them.
Without shame.
Yeah.
One more thing, asking if in that moment, do they want to be touched or not? Because I think a lot of people's initial reactions to comforting people have to do with hugging them or physically touching them. But sometimes those people who are feeling very dysphoric at that moment do not want to be touched. And I think it's very important. And I think that we've learned this together over the past year and a half. You ask me now, do you want to be touched right now or do you need space?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's not her job to ask me. And I have learned also now to voice if I do not want to be touched or if I want space in a specific moment, which I think helps a lot.
Okay, next question that someone asked. How would you recommend helping your partner's dysphoria that hits in the middle of the night? Again, was something new to me that I didn't expect for dysphoria to hit Chella in the middle of the night, but I think it happens to a lot of people. For us, we slept in the same bed. Something that I learned from some other people is to maybe sleep on his chest.
This is specifically for people who are dysphoric about their chest.
Yeah. I feel like this question was specifically asking about dysphoria for someone's chest. Another thing, I would get up with Chella and say, what do you need? Do you need some water? Do you want to write? Do you want to draw? Do you want to go on a walk? And I remember this one time we went on a walk together it was like the middle of the night, it was like early or something like that. Chella could get his mind off of it for a little bit in the best way we could. Even though it may be frustrating at times, being woken up in the middle of the night and having to look at your partner in so much pain and not really knowing how to deal with it. But just being able to say, I will do in this moment anything I can to get your mind off of it. I think that's the number one thing, trying to get their mind off of it. But also I want to remind that if you're sleeping together in the same bed, if your partner's waking you up in the middle of the night and demanding you to take care of the situation, I feel like in no way is your responsibility. And if you're in that situation where it feels like your partner's demanding you to take care of it, you should have a conversation about that and say that you're being hurt by this because
it's not their job.
Yeah, and sleep is important for your partner and also for you.
Never have I ever asked or demanded MaryV to take care of me, because in past relationships I have been the person on the other end and have been demanded to do something for them. And I know exactly how that feels, so never have I ever done that to MaryV, and I never will. But it was an incredible privilege that she was willing to do that for me. And again, I'm forever grateful for that and for her.
Dysphoria in the middle of the night.
Not fun. But you can get through it.
Yeah. How do you hug closely and have vulnerable naked sex with so much dysphoria? I read through these questions before, and this one I thought a lot about. Typically, how sex is portrayed is that two bodies are together completely nude. I don't think that has to be the case for each time you have sex. However you have sex with someone. You can be clothed and have sex.
Yeah.
You being able to communicate to that. And I'm okay with having sex with our clothes on if that will make you more comfortable.
Also, just again, asking your partner, having open communication with them. What are you comfortable with? What positions would you prefer? Where and where not would you like me to touch you? Would any specific words turn you on more or make you feel more comfortable in your body? Please let me know.
Yeah.
I would love to use them.
Yeah. Or even empowered and asking.
Oh wait, do you know this sign for empowered? I learned it the other day. It's this. It's like you gaining muscle and you're giving it to someone else. Empowering.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
For us, specifically where Chella has gotten dysphoric is his chest the most. But I also got a lot of questions, people asking about bottom dysphoria. That's something to be conscious if your partner is navigating that. So asking them specifically what they would like, what they specifically would like you to call their genitalia, even their chest.
But in all cases, again, because we cannot speak for your partner or any other couple in general, you just have to have an open conversation with them and ask what they prefer.
Yeah. Communicating. It's awkward sometimes. It's difficult to find timing for it. Can help so much and can make your relationship and your sex so much more healthy and so much more smooth if talking about this. And I know it can be scary, but being the partner and being like, I am open to talking about anything just to make you happy and feel safe is the best thing you can do.
No, yeah, saying that changes that. But I think it's also important to keep in mind that if they do not feel like talking about anything specifically, you have to respect that.
Yeah. If you as a partner really want to know because you feel like you can't go forward in the relationship without knowing, asking them if you could set a time later on to talk about it. And just saying this as nice and non-aggressive as possible, but just later on I would like to speak about this. What is something that you can do / keep in mind so you don't trigger your partner's dysphoria? I know if you're around new people, those people may not know, or if you're around family, your family may not know, but just try your best to keep it in the back of your head, and if something does happen, just pulling them aside and being like, I know that happened, but I was thinking about it, and doing something for them that you know would make them feel comfortable and for you two to feel reunited again.
Exactly. That could do with things that don't even have to do with dysphoria. A few days ago, we were at a family reunion, and one of them came up to me, and for those who don't know, I'm deaf, but they said, "You speak very well. Your speech almost sounds normal." And of course, in my mind, it was a bit offensive because there is no normal for speaking. However you speak can and should be normal. Normal, to be honest, should not even be a thing because it's a social construct of what is
society's ways of things that should be correct.
Yeah. I didn't say that to her because I didn't want to get into anything and I was with my family, but being able to go over to MaryV, tell her what happened, and then just having her understand that, being able to just have her listen to me and understand was incredibly uplifting and reminded me that I have a community of people who understand me. I think that goes with what you just said about being able to just go to someone else, whether that is your partner or someone in your chosen family, your friend, etc., and just feeling like you are understood.
After being triggered, I wanted to give some quick things specifically between us. I kind of kept a list on mentally. One that I noticed, Chella sometimes before didn't really like me wearing his clothes just because our body types were very different. And maybe your partner's not even thinking about that. And they're just for that short period of time not wearing their clothes.
Or just asking them. MaryV has a chest and curves. Those were things that I got dysphoric about. So seeing my clothes and seeing the imprint of her body, I didn't expect to be triggered, but I found that I was.
And another thing, certain places where I would hold Chella or touch Chella, whether it be out in public or during sex, if I could just feel that he was uncomfortable if my hands were there, I would move them, pick somewhere else to put my hands. Yeah.
Support!
That was scary.
Yeah, I know, I kind of scared myself.
Support. To me, having a lot of patience. A lot of the things and scenarios that we talked about earlier when we were talking about dysphoria, all of those things went into that. But I feel like patience was the number one thing. And if you have patience between the two of you, things could... I feel like if you have patience between the two of you, things can work out. And I don't know.
You can take time to say it.
Yeah.
There's no rush to say.
Okay. Yeah, well.
See? Patience. Right there. I was being patient with what she had to say. And I'm usually never the one that's patient.
Getting a binder for the first time can be really exciting for your partner. Being there for that, sharing with them like how glowing they still look, how amazing they still are.
With it or without it.
Yeah.
Just being this positive beacon to go to. Even in the times when I'm typically a very positive person, but there were, of course, moments where I just couldn't be. You shared that with me.
I had gotten this past year, gotten a lot of emails from people or DMs of them pouring their heart out to me and telling me their situation of what they were going through in their relationship with their partner who is transitioning or starting to transition or even thinking about it. And some people saying, I don't know if I can handle this. And I just wanted to say, if you feel like deep down you can't handle it in that moment, that it's fine and you can still love and support them without being in the relationship. That's fine. Hard, but it's okay.
As the person who is transitioning in the relationship, giving them that initial warning before to know that this is going to be heavy. This is going to be a lot. It will be emotionally draining. It will be a journey and a roller coaster. Right after I came out, I don't like the word coming out because I don't think it should be a thing, but right after I came out to MaryV that I wanted to get top surgery and go on testosterone, we went on a walk and I told her exactly that. And I was like, look, I don't want you to stay in this if this is too much. I love you so much and I would never want you to have to go through this with me if it is too heavy or you cannot handle it right now. I completely understand if you need to take a break right now and you need to focus on yourself more while I focus on myself. Just as she would ask me questions in the future about opting out without shame, I did the same for her in the beginning, and I think that is extremely important. You have to recognize that your partner has their own feelings and their own problems, and it is not in any situation on them to take care of you.
Yeah. Using their preferred name and or pronouns is a huge way that you can support your partner. I understand that sometimes some people just don't grasp on to the idea of changing someone's pronouns and that it may be hard or difficult to remember, but it's overall just about respect. And if you respect this person, that you'll try your best to do it. It's okay if you slip up every once in a while and maybe talk to your partner of how you want to handle that if you do slip up, because some people don't like it if say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
But some people do appreciate it if you apologize. Anything to say?
No, I feel like you're doing a great job.
Okay.
I'm just listening.
Oh, and then introducing someone like, oh, this is Chella, my ex, or my I meant
Your
ex.
ex?
I meant ex, I
No,
meant
I'm
ex, fill in the blank. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. This is Chella, my fill in the blank.
That's better.
So I actually looked up some relationship identifiers that are for people that are non-binary, because I know that's really difficult to find.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to stay in the binaries of boyfriend or girlfriend or...
And it's also just hard to connect with something that's partner. For me, I feel like it feels formal, and I don't connect with it as much, but I also do not like staying in the binaries and saying boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't realize I kind of like the sign. I wish that we could just say, oh hi, this is MaryV, my you know, and then just sign it. Because I feel like no word is good enough for what I really feel towards you.
Yeah.
And I wish that I could just fill in the blank with a sign.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people would be confused because they would be
Well,
like,
yeah.
what is this person doing with their hands?
But I feel like
yeah, I wish.
I feel like people are confused if you say partner, and then they like go over to their friends and they're just like, so do they work together? Or, you know?
But I feel like also a lot of queer people know, like, oh, partner.
Queer people?
Yeah.
Depends on where you are.
Yeah.
But in all cases, yes,
Well, here are a couple.
Yeah.
Significant other. Oh,
Just like an L word. This is my rubber, Cindy.
Oh my god, ew. Oh, so terrible. Ugh. I suggest watching the L Word we just finished. It's a little actually it is.
It is a lot of problematic.
Yeah, it's a lot of problematic.
But at least it was like the first of its kind and very progressive in a lot of its ways. But of course, like whenever you like look at the first progressive thing of that time period, when you look at it later on, it's always problematic for that time period now.
Yeah.
Anyway, non-binary relationship identifiers.
Partner, my person, the person I'm in love with. I used that for a little while for Chella. Lover, soulmate, and then lastly, you could just use their name. I mean.
Or the sign. Partner. With your pinkies out. Partner.
Cute. But yeah, just talk with your partner and try to make something cute, fun, and new with each other.
I'm not really about like, oh, this is my pookie.
Yeah, well, some people are into that, or like being like, this is my
cupcake, buttercup squash. Whatever works for you.
Yeah. Okay, lastly, bathrooms. Bathrooms! Ah! With like thunder cracking in the background.
We could add that.
It's like, oh yeah, we could. Bathrooms! Ah! Well, I think just the whole bathroom situation in general is frustrating. Being a cis person, always being aware of that bathrooms are a scary, sometimes dangerous place for people, telling them, I can go with you to the bathroom, I can accompany you to the bathroom. I will do anything I can right now to find you a gender-neutral bathroom. I feel like can change the world for your partner, or even if you're hanging out with other people. I think that's something that I'm trying to always think about, you know, will the bathrooms be accessible for the people that I'm with?
And I mean, even if you are going to a restaurant or just any public space, like you could even call ahead and ask for the bathroom situation. Are the bathrooms here gender neutral? Could you make them gender neutral for this day or this hour? All you need to do is cover up that binary sign with like a gender neutral text.
Yeah, so something that came up a lot before Chella started taking testosterone and was in the stage of not passing yet, or just not passing.
Yeah, which was my entire life up until this past year.
But I think there was a big chunk of time when you were taking T and you were just in this androgynous stage.
But again, yeah, I mean, like, I've experienced that growing up.
Yeah. Well, with me, I'm talking about.
Oh, with you, yeah.
But this is something that like worried me when we were both going to the women's restroom together. And there were a couple instances where people came up to Chella and or tried to stop him from going into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Or
asked for the letter that was on my birth certificate.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was something that was really scary and not something that I knew how to navigate yet. But
I mean, for anyone, it's
yeah. But I think it definitely depends, first off, the area that you're in the situation that you're in, and the person that is approaching you.
Yep.
But for the situations that we were in and the people that were approaching us, I personally felt safe enough to stand up for Chella and for us. And I simply said to these people, because they would come up, and I remember this one time we were at the train station, and there was one of the cleaning people of the bathroom came up to us and was like, whoa, this is the woman's restroom. Or said to you, I just looked at her and said very calmly, that doesn't matter, we're just here to use the restroom. I think this person was just taken aback a little bit, and...
But yeah, I think it really depends on the situation and what you feel comfortable doing. And also, a lot of times I found when I was with MaryV, she would end up saying something because I have trouble hearing what the other people say. So a lot of times when someone confronts me, I can't understand what they're saying because of the area we're in, or maybe I don't have my cochlear implants in. And so I'm lucky enough to have MaryV to say something, because like I would have said something. Like it's not like I needed you to stand up for me and I was asking you to. Again, it really depends on the situation, the person who confronts you, how you feel as an individual standing up to them. Overall, just try to avoid any aggression in all situations and just let them know, if you want to let them know at all. You are just there to use the bathroom, and that is all. And it is your right.
As a cis person, you should definitely be aware of that these situations can happen and knowing how to navigate them safely. But I think just overall, looking for gender neutral bathrooms is the best thing that you can do. One of the questions is, how do you address strangers and people who have inappropriate questions? I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about
things that are not represented in society's
mass media. How we personally deal with those kind of questions, depending on who the person is, because it, just of course depends on the person. But I think just saying, very calmly, like, we don't feel comfortable answering that question. And especially if you're in a public place, if you feel comfortable telling the person, like, that isn't really a question that you should be asking people unless you are in a space that is more comfortable having the conversation.
I found in a lot of cases I hardly decline a question because I think I am typically a very open person, and I know that in most cases they are not trying to be malicious by asking the question. They are just honestly curious, which is valid because considering what is represented in today's mass media, or people like me with my identities there's not usually conversations or dialogue spoken around what I deal with on a daily basis. So if the person is truly trying to ask a question without being malicious, I try to answer it as politely and clearly as I can without using terms they may or may not understand, trying to explain it in a way that is as simple as possible. And I think the answer is just that, trying to explain it without aggression, as simple as you can, if you are open to answering the question, is incredible, because who knows, that person who you just answered a question to may go and try to learn more about it, or may try to be more open-minded about situations like that next time. And maybe when you're done after answering the question, just adding, just so you know, the way that you phrase that question may be a bit offensive to people like me, or people from my community, or anyone in general. And just saying it in the most polite way as possible, it will change the way people go about in the world.
Whether you are the person who's transitioning, or the person who is cis in the relationship, or just the person who is in the relationship also, who is not transitioning, just knowing that you have no obligation to answer anyone's question, whether it be simply out of curiosity and wanting to educate themselves, or on the other hand, them wanting to be rude or ignorant, that you don't have to answer. And questions that because similar to Chella, I answer most questions that people have because I want to educate people. But questions that I don't answer is if they're specifically about Chella or about his body, because we don't have the same bodies. And some people want to ask me, who is cis, because they are also cis and want to know more about a trans or trans non-binary body, and that's not my place to speak, because I'm not going to talk about Chella's body without him there. And what I say to that is, there's the internet. Look it up.
There are so many resources today. If you truly are interested in respectfully educating yourself, you can find a way.
Sex.
Part 3.
Sex. First question that I had gotten asked: how has intimacy changed throughout his transition?
I think one of the main things that has shifted is my physical body, and the fact that my chest is now flat and bottom growth is a thing, where on testosterone your clitoris will grow, or however you would like to refer to your genital scientific word. Clitoris grows on testosterone. And I think that changes your sensation as a person, because as it gets bigger you're able to feel more, or different things will feel better, or the way that you have sex can change.
Mm-hmm.
Because sensation in general shifts. I don't have feeling in my nipples anymore. Some of my chest is numb, but there's shifts in my bottom region.
Yeah, for me, this was, again, something new for me to experience and go through with Chella. But in our intimacy, I think the way we spoke to one another has changed a lot. The terms we use, the way we talk to each other during sex, I think has changed, because there's certain words that we didn't use before, but now we do, just to either make Chella more comfortable or to make one another more comfortable. Okay, next question. How do you deal with taking the binder off during sex? How should the person's chest be considered after the binder is off?
Again, this really depends person to person, and you just have to be open with your partner, have a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot, as much as we'd like to, we cannot answer that for your partner.
Yeah. But as a partner, I think if it might be a break for a little bit, to give your partner a little time to take off their binder, or even asking your partner if they need help taking it off, because it could be a little encouraging for them to help them take it off. But if they don't, respecting that and maybe letting them do that in a different room, or keeping the lights off once they take off their binder could be really helpful too, and just respecting any choices they make. Coming to the sexual situation with these suggestions, like, we can keep the lights off when you take off your binder. I can help you.
Or even watch this video together and then just talk about the options presented in it.
And then once they do take off their binder, it can be a really vulnerable experience for them and for you. But asking them how you would want to refer, if they would like you to touch their chest at all, or if they don't, and just remembering that.
That's it!
Yay! I feel like there's still a ton of things that we didn't cover for this video.
Yeah.
And
this is such a broad topic.
Yeah, huge.
But if you would like us to make more videos about top surgery or testosterone or any other topics that you have in mind, please let us know. We will definitely love to make videos about this.
Yeah. Thank you for watching this, and
thank you for watching.
Love and support and kiss your partner as much as you can.
Yeah. And to say the least, it can be extremely hard, but to just try to maintain a positive outlook in all situations, it really shifts absolutely everything.
I love you.
I love you. And we wish you luck.
Yeah.
All of the luck and all the love on your own journeys.
Yeah. Whichever path you decide to take.